I usually do that when I'm sitting alone in the car, like driving. You know when you just get so bored and you're like, oh, I got to entertain myself. Fundamentally, I got involved at Osiris by meeting Umar at a gas station at 2 a.m. And forming a relationship with him and wanting to go on an adventure to solve as many problems in the world as we could. Okay. My role within Osiris is to, it's very broad definition. Whenever you work in a small company or a small business or a startup or anything where resources are limited, you kind of have to do everything. So for instance, recently I've been sending emails, I've been trying to get orders in. We're going through a pre-sale of 50 units, so I've been working on the sales side as opposed to the engineering side. My main interest though is working with the engineering, because taking these problems that we're trying to solve and putting a physical device or a piece of software out in the world that solves these problems is the coolest experience, because you get to genuinely help people, as opposed to selling something that's not really, or being in a position where you're selling something that already exists. You're kind of meshing both your talent and what you have available to you and the desire to get paid for that. I think we can solve a lot of issues. When Umar and I started the journey, we saw access tech as a very heavily priced arena where that just doesn't help a lot of people. And, it has its reasons for being heavily priced due to the limited market and, niche products and one-off manufacturing kind of routines. But we think about it a little differently in the fact that we can bridge gaps between different markets and make something that a lot of people want to use as opposed to a small segment of people. The Macaron is a digital measuring device. It connects to an app. It helps pretty much if you're measuring something frequently, millimeters, centimeters, whatever the measurement be. If you're measuring it frequently, you need this device to help you streamline your measurements. It connects straight to an app. You can save measurements instantly, and the way it's designed is to make those measurements as fast as possible and as easy as possible. Okay. I'm really excited from the feedback that we've been getting recently with it. We've got a pediatrician over in New York that's very eager to have a look at it and very eager to get involved. He has a clinic of about 60 people that he'd probably purchase like 60, because each pediatrician kind of needs one. But to get involved in that kind of area where we are actually not necessarily selling, but making products, and of course selling them, but making products for a sighted audience that the visually impaired can use. That's the direction of the company that we've been wanting to take it for a while. And the fact that we're having some sighted professionals actually starting to get involved is what excites me the most at the moment. Just because that is the vision and that is what we're trying to tackle. Different versions of the Macaron I see being used everywhere. The core technology that we built inside, we spent a lot of time on to make it accurate. And I haven't seen anyone that's done anything similar. I've been looking out and seeing what other people are doing and how they're trying to solve this accuracy issue. So I think we have the talent internal to our team where we can design things in a way that helps people more than just the measurement. So, whether it's you not wanting to look at the measurement while you're doing it, whether it's the streamline of the measurements and saving those to an app and making the kind of templates. So if you're measuring something, one of the things we're putting on it at the moment is if you're measuring, say you measure bodies frequently, you can have a list of body types on the screen, on the device itself, so you don't have to pick out your phone anymore. You just have this measuring device that can save and streamline the measurements straight away. So it's like a notepad with pen and paper with the tape measure, but on steroids. Probably the one that came to mind very quickly was this time where we were showing it to a woodwork shop. And, we gave him the demo, we said, here's what it can do. And he's like, wow, this is pretty cool. We said, this is the previous Macron. So he said he didn't like these certain features about the Macron because he got confused about where to measure to. But he's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. And then he said, is it rigid? No, he said, can you drop it? And I said, why don't you give it a shot? And then he dropped it and it fell on the ground. It looked perfect, like it didn't look like it broke, but he picked it back up and he's like, yeah, see, that's perfect. As long as you can drop it, it's perfect. And he gave it to me. And as we were walking out the door, I started to pull the thread out and I realized it had actually broke inside. So if he picked it up and was like, this is perfect, but pulls it out and actually notices that it's broken, that would have been like an oh shit moment, but that was like avoided because he just didn't do it. With the new Macron, we filmed my bike running over it recently with 3D printed material. Just like had the material sitting there and the bike just goes over it. You can hear the harmonics or the sound. You can hear the sound coming from the bike's engine just going brum, 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 brum. Like each rev, you can hear that. And I thought that was really cool too. When we started the Macron, we designed it to have guidance capabilities for the visually impaired, because when we started it, we were only focusing on the visually impaired market. So we created this thing where people could scan their environment as well as have the tape measure. And around that time, my co-founder and I were having arguments about which feature we should prioritize, because most advisors you get will say focus on one thing and then expand. And we were having an argument about which one we should choose. And I think Yuma took the no, we can't throw the tape measure out of it, and I took the we need to focus on making the navigation part the most streamlined thing ever, because that's what's bringing the most value to our people that we're talking to. And we actually got the feedback from all the people that we've been giving out of, we manufactured 10 ourselves, and then we got the feedback from them, and most people actually didn't like the navigation device, just because it wasn't, like, it was still better than what they had. It was still like a 2 times, but we're not happy with 2 times. We want to be 10 times better than whatever the previous solution is. So with solutions like the cane and the guide dog, it's like you either go 10 times that, or you're just another piece of plastic in the world that's not really adding too much help to the people that are using it.